Let me back up a sec, because you probably think you know how this story ends. But trust me, nobody in Willowbrook saw it coming, least of all me. The morning 3 fake cops tried to confiscate every weapon I owned. Right there in my garage was the day my so-called quiet retirement detonated into chaos. Veterans like you shouldn't have access to weapons. We're confiscating everything for neighborhood safety. That's what the woman in the plastic badge said, her polyester uniform shining under my garage light like a Halloween costume. She had 2 sidekicks flanking her, hands near what any kid could tell were airsoft holsters, trying so hard to look like law enforcement, but giving off more party store vibes than anything official. They thought they could intimidate me. Never mind my 12 years in Army Special Forces, or the fact I can spot a phony from a football field away, even half-deaf from Afghanistan. They had no clue about the federal protocol I'm authorized to use, the one that could spin their little home invasion into a RICO case by lunch. I'd only been in Willowbrook Estates 3 weeks, a sleepy, upscale gated slice of Atlanta suburbia, full of pastel blazers and rules about mailbox color. My name's Garrett Wolf, and this all started when I bought my supposed dream house at a federal auction, outbidding some developer by $1,000 with VA settlement money that, honestly, felt more like blood money most days. The house had belonged to Harrison Blackwood, whose brother Conrad ran a security company, and whose wife Meredith just so happened to be the HOA president. You know what I mean? That's the kind of luck I've got. The day the trouble started, I was installing a gun safe in the garage, sweating bullets while my coffee went cold. Meredith Blackwood herself rolled up in a white Range Rover, dressed like Stepford royalty, flanked by 2 clipboard-wielding lieutenants. Her handshake felt like a cold accusation, her smile stretched tight enough to snap. She called me Mr. Wolf, like it was a dirty word, handed me a welcome packet that read more like a threat, 73 pages of rules, and a pink sticky note on the weapons and neighborhood safety section. Family-friendly environment, she said. Certain elements can be disturbing to children. I kept my cool, told her every gun was legal, locked, and federally permitted, but she stared like she could see the ghosts in my closet, tapping her clipboard with each word. Then she dropped the PTSD bomb, talking about incidents with veterans and community safety, like service was a contagious disease. I told her, steady as I could, that her attitude might need some legal reconsideration, but all I got was her frozen smile and a threat to inspect my home for the children's safety. That night, I did recon, county websites, Facebook groups, all of it, and learned Meredith's 6-year reign had driven out a dozen families, mostly veterans. Violation notices, vanished Facebook posts, the works. Turns out, buying this house hadn't just upset the HOA. I'd wrecked Meredith's plan to hand the neighborhood throne to her brother-in-law, Harrison. The campaign started fast, 17 violations in 5 days, every morning like clockwork. Fines for aggressive patriotic displays, which is code for my American flag, and accusations that the smell of gun oil made neighbors feel threatened. $9 grand in fines in a week, and I'm still laughing about the woman who measured my grass with a ruler. But that was just the warm-up. Week 2, Conrad's security started patrolling in black SUVs, parking across my street, photographing me through my windows. Turns out, Blackwood Security wasn't even licensed in Georgia. Permits yanked 2 years ago after an incident in a mall, but they just rebranded and kept cashing checks. It wasn't just me. I tracked down 3 other vets. James, a Navy guy hounded until he sold at a loss. Michael, whose house burned in a suspicious accident. And David, who was almost committed for erratic behavior, code for flying a flag and having barbecues. Every time, violations, surveillance, escalation, then the cops, real or fake. They'd break people down until they sold cheap or cracked up. That playbook had worked for years, until I showed up. And then came that Tuesday. I'm in my garage, cleaning my grandfather's M1 Garand, when I hear the SUVs. 3 men in police uniforms get out, moving like actors not cops. Badges too shiny, radios spitting static. Sergeant Troy Hutchinson, leading the charge, built like he played high school football a decade ago. He hands me a warrant. Wrong judge's name, laughable forgery. I play along, ask for his badge and precinct, dial my phone. They start sweating, hands shaking on those plastic guns. I tell them, I'm calling 911 to verify. You should have seen their faces, Real cops want verification. These guys look like they'd just realized the haunted house was actually haunted. Then the short one tries to threaten me with arrest, but he's sweating through his fake badge. The linebacker on the radio? Nothing but static. I get my phone recording, tell them they're being reported, and that's when the leader's voice cracks. "We have reports you're threatening neighbors," he says, but he's halfway out the door in his head. My training kicks in, legal, not combat. This is a federal violation. I hit my security app, get every camera rolling to the cloud, then call the FBI Atlanta field office. I'm still talking to the agent when the fakes realize they're done for. One tries to run, stops halfway down the lawn. The linebacker just freezes. Then the leader breaks. "Blackwood Securities hired us for a training exercise. They said you were an actor, too. It's all on camera, all on record." And right then, sirens start up the street. The real sheriff's deputy, veteran himself, shows up, instantly spots the fakes. "Hands behind your heads," he says, and their training exercise ends with real handcuffs. The FBI rolls in, sets up a mobile command post in my driveway. Turns out, they'd been waiting for this, tracking Blackwood Securities for 2 years, looking for a break. My case links to similar operations in 3 other states, all targeting vets, all hiding behind HOA safety. The actors confess. One's an out-of-work actor from Craigslist, another's a scared community theater kid, the third a fired mall cop. All of them thought this was a legal gig. None of them understood what they'd been roped into. But the evidence, emails, contracts, call sheets, was damning. The FBI raids Meredith's house that afternoon, finds the operations laptop, and a paper trail that would make any prosecutor salivate. Meredith tries the spousal privilege line, but conspiracy trumps privilege, and both she and Conrad are arrested. Turns out, this wasn't just about me or Willowbrook. Blackwood Securities, Meridian Holdings, and their shell companies had been buying out veterans, flipping their homes, and laundering millions. They targeted vets with disabilities, thinking we'd break under pressure, be easy to discredit. They'd even rated us for vulnerability. My score was low, so they sent in the fake cops early. Willowbrook's response was electric. Emergency HOA meeting, packed house. And for once, people spoke up, led by Dorothy Simmons, a retired teacher who'd been bullied into silence for years. That night, the entire HOA board was voted out. They voided my violations, started a forensic audit, and discovered Meredith had embezzled HOA funds to pay for Conrad's security. The scam unraveled in days, with neighbors finally seeing what they'd ignored for years. The investigation exploded. Other victims came forward, a federal trial was set, and Rebecca Stone, the assistant U.S. attorney, took point. In court, the Blackwoods tried to hide behind community safety, but the evidence was relentless. Financials, surveillance, staged photos, emails about cleaning out undesirable residents. Veterans testified about being hounded, children stalked, service dogs targeted, even arson. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, guilty on every count. Conrad got 12 years, Meredith 8, millions in restitution. The fallout was national. New laws passed, a federal task force launched, HOAs across the country forced to reform. My house stayed mine. My garage became a safe space where I teach veterans and neighbors about their rights, and the Wolf Foundation I started has helped hundreds keep their homes. Sometimes Dorothy brings coffee, and we talk about how far Willowbrook has come. Veterans make up a third of the neighborhood now, and barbecues are for everyone, not just the right kind of people. Trevor, the fake cop turned whistleblower, comes by with donuts. He volunteers at the foundation, teaching actors how not to get caught up in scams. My daughter, Catherine, toddles around the garage while I clean the M1 every Tuesday. Knowing this home, these rights were hard-won. So here's the thing. Would you have called their bluff or gathered more evidence? Drop your answer in the comments, because every fight for justice is a little different, and sometimes the right move is the one your gut tells you. If you made it this far, hit like, share your own story if you've tangled with a neighborhood tyrant, and let's keep the conversation going about rights, justice, and what real community looks like.